Alright, back to work on the International here. I'm going to show you kind of what's going on. Last video showed all the body work was done. It ended up being in primer the next day. So it is all primed up, ready to go. I might need a reprime on the roof, but I've let it sit like 6 days so far in the shop. And I'm going to work on that. But I moved over to the hood, or the nose, whatever you want to call. There was a giant busted out spot here, as you recall, that I cut out, and I had a hole here, and it's fiberglass mat and resin on the back side. I didn't show you how I did it because it literally took me all day of building between this one and this one, which I've already filled, and I'll show you the back side because you can still see this one on how it's done. But this one is real close. It's roughed in. I just need to buzz over it with some 180 and then some 320. But this one turned out nice. This one was missing from down here all the way up to here. But luckily, my boy brought me a fender and I was able to chop a piece out of it, so I saved myself some time. Yep, he took the old Sawzall to the old nose and whacked it off. Yep. So I'll go ahead and show you guys in here. See if I can hold the camera steady enough. That's how it's done. There's probably 5 or 6 layers of fiberglass mat in that. Okay? And I just kept laying it up and building it up. And same thing with the outside. I dished it out and put it in there. Now this, it's going to be hard to see, but I had to, boy, that's going to be hard. Crawl around under this thing. It's on sawhorses, but that support on the inside was cracked all up, and I finished cutting it out so I could get access to the back of that front repair. But let's see, can we see it from here? Yeah, sort of. That's re-glassed over, just to glue it back together, sort of. I didn't get too crazy on it, but I had to take the hinges off because it was busted in that corner. Just one thing after the next. Oh, get myself back out of here. Got a couple little patches going back here. Just put some fiberglass mat on it. My buddy was sanding these edges and the dust got on it, so that's where it's at for now. This will hopefully be the final block on this. My lines are pretty good, but it was broke here. It was broken here. There was a big crack in it in the grill here. And we were talking, a lot of comments were left when I was complaining about how does this grill come out. I don't think it does. If you look at the back side, it looks like it's molded in. So, is what it is. But let me tell you what, they had like almost a carriage style bolt in the front of this holding that hinge on the back, and I had to fight and fight and fight with the air hammer to get those driven back out this direction after I took the hinges off. Just unbelievable. So we'll block that out, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's already almost 5 o'clock. I've been here since 9:30. Yeah, somewhere around there. It rained a little bit today, so whenever I get ready to prime this, I'll bring you back and we'll talk some more. Maybe we'll talk before then once I get that all wrapped up. So we'll talk to you then. Alright guys, back to the Velvethamma show with a fun action-packed video on how to do some fiberglass repairs. This is one of those situations. This hood had a bug deflector at one time that they're not putting back on, so there's holes. So I'm going to show you what I've done, and I'll explain to you the whys and hows and things of that nature. I've taken a grinder, and with these repairs I've dished them way out. Now you could do these from both sides, but on this particular unit there's actually another structure that's like an inch away from it, so getting it dished out is going to be nearly impossible. And I think the camera, because it's white, is not going to pick it up. Some pretty deep gouges I put in it with the grinder, which is what we're going to need for that to grab. Okay, so that's what I've done. Now you can do these a couple different ways. You can take your fiberglass matting and tear up little pieces and use your polyester resin and just continually lay them up in these holes until you build it up a little higher. The way I'm going to do it, this is like a kitty hair or tiger hair type. This is U-Pole brand Fibrol. It's long strand fiberglass filler. So I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to put you guys on the stand so I can talk and not have you right up in my face. There we go. And we're going to build up these repairs. Now there's a little bit of paint on the outskirts of this, and that's got a little bit of a 80 grit scratch in it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just use this fiber, long strand fiberglass fiber type filler, and I put some foil tape on the back side of these holes so that the filler doesn't ooze through. I do want it to come through a little bit, but what I don't want is it hanging down, because it'll be hard to trim off on the inside because of the clearances I'm dealing with. So I'm just going to knead up this hardener real quick. I kind of like this brand because it comes in a foil pouch and it's easier to knead it. But neither here nor there. So we'll get this mixed up and we'll fill these in. And then I'll come back after that's done and we'll put a either glazing putty or some lightweight filler over the top of it. This filler tends to pinhole up terribly just because of the nature of the long strand fibers. It's hard to get all the air out of it. It's hard to mix up without getting a bunch of air into it. And my clean sheet board here is ripped apart, so I'm chasing it around. Almost need to go off frame here to do this. Get down on my knees and hold the board. Alright, so just take this filler, and I'll end up going past the repair, but it'll all get sanded back off. And I want to kind of build this up just a little touch higher, not a ton higher, but a little bit. The long strand will be nice and strong to fill in a hole like that. I'm trying to scrape some of this stuff out from around the edges. The fiberglass is a hard one to sand anyway, so. Really want to kind of press it in there. This filler tends to drag a little bit when you try and pull a spreader over it because of the long strand fiberglass in it. It looks like I'm making a huge mess here, but it won't be that bad. Once I start blocking that down with some 80 grit, it'll be gone in no time. And this is just how I do them. I don't know that it's the right way or the wrong way, but it works. I've never had one break back out before filling a hole. You just kind of got to dish into it some so that you have more surface area to grab onto. If you just try putting it over a hole, sometimes those will fail. Sometimes they'll last too. But better safe than sorry. When you're done mixing up your filler, get it into a wad like this and smush your spreader out in it, and then it'll just break free. And your spreader will be clean. So that's how you do that. Then just put some fine, either polyester putty or something over them, but that's what you got there. So we'll bring you back when we get that all blocked down. You can see the repair.